Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Road Trip. And for this episode, we're gonna check out some fine drinking here at Wine World, Rock Park. Come on, join us on The Road Trip. All right, we're here at Wine World for another episode of The Road Trip. And you know what? I love the place. I love the vibe, the music. You can really chill out here. You know, the interior and everything. But there's something missing. What? All right? I don't have something to drink. I don't have anything to start this party with, right? So I think we're gonna have to go up to the cellar, check out what they have on offer. I'm a wine noob, just to let you all know, but I did ask from some of my wine enthusiast friends out there on Facebook, and they all gave me some feedback. And there were a couple of wine names that were dropped, so let's see if it's available here, and let's check it out. Off to the wine cellar on The Road Trip. Ayo, ayo. Hi, bro. Hi, Rod Rodriguez of The Road Trip. So we have Kirby, our wine authority, right? He's the guy who will get me drunk tonight. So we're here at the wine cellar of Wine World. And for me, this is slightly foreign. I mean, I'm not a wine enthusiast, I'm not a wine expert, but the reason why we're here is to open the doors for all those who are intimidated by the wine and the culture and the lifestyle and everything that comes with it, all right? And I'm the man for that because, you know, I'm generally a beer and whiskey drinker, but I'm trying to be healthy. I'm not getting any younger, and my wife loves wine. So if you can't beat them, join them. And Kirby's here to suggest a couple of bottles that might be within my budget tonight. So let's check it out. So Kirby, what are 2 bottles, 1 red, 1 white, that you can recommend for a noob like myself? Na medyo di ganun kamahalan na.
This is Cahors Malbec.
Cahors Malbec. Can we get a good shot of that?
Malbec is a dry full body red wine.
Okay. So when you drink it, it goes smooth.
Smooth but hits another different level.
Nice. I like that. It goes well with what kind of meat?
Meats like steaks, chicken, barbecues.
Perfect. Exactly what I have planned for tonight. Cheeses. All right. So specifically, any particular type of cheese or aged cheese or cheddar or?
All cheeses.
All cheeses. Actually. Perfect. All right. So pwede crafty din? Yeah, if you're on a budget, right? Why not? It's still cheese. I think it is cheese. Anyways, so all right. So Cahors. How do you pronounce this?
Cahors.
Malbec. All right, and this is French? No,
yeah.
Oh, French. Okay. Is this in a particular order? Like this is from France, or this is this so price range? Is this so price range, or it's basically you know, random?
By country.
Okay, so by region and country. All right. So we have the flags, right?
Yeah.
So this would obviously indicate that it's French and South Africa. Yes, this one I'm more familiar with. I've tried some of the Chilean brands. So what about your house wine? Can I have one in? Obviously, this is red, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can I have a white house wine? Try out tonight.
Terra Noble Chardonnay.
All right. So why is it Chardonnay and this is from Chile, right?
This is a dry white with citrusy and buttery flavors.
Because I was told, and I think I read it somewhere, that if it's red wine, red meat, if it's white wine, white meat. Is that accurate or not really? You can mix and match.
Di na mag-matter kasi sa ano.
So pwede sisig.
We don't do that here.
Pwedeng papaitan. No?
Yes, sir. Because
O kahit ding-dong.
Alam mo to, kuya?
Mixed nuts. Di ba, bro?
Yes po.
Oh, see? And we have the white, we have the red, and that's recommended by our wine enthusiast here at the wine cellar of Wine World. Thank you, Kirby. Dagang salamat, bro. And any pulutan recommendations for starters?
Beef salpicao, sir, for this red wine.
Perfect. All right, so for the white,
White is salmon, pesto, cheese, and capers.
ayun. So I'm gonna check the price list and see if it's within budget. Otherwise, ding dong it is.
Sinamantala mo naman.
All right, so we're off back outside. This has been the Wine Cellar, and this has been Kirby with Rod Rodriguez here on the Rod Trip. Let's go. All right, so it would be an episode of the Road Trip if we didn't have food involved, right? And on the table, we have the cheese and cold cuts platter. There, got that out of my tongue. And it's a great way to get your taste buds involved in what's to come. There's other food coming in, but for now, we gotta level up our style. So yeah, it's certainly not hub time, right? It's more of like slow eating, slow tasting, and I am a lover of cheese. My favorite is, unfortunately, mozzarella, which is probably one of the most common cheeses out there, but it's time to level up our cheese and sausage knowledge. This one, I'm familiar with this. This is called Spam.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No, I'm kidding. Prosciutto, pros something, all right? And I don't know what this one is. Like I told you, I'm a noob coming in here, right? I just know this is pepperoni for sure. And I wonder what this is, right? Manzanitas. Kidding aside, this is a great way to start out, right? So we already have our wine here. I have a bottle of white, I have a bottle of red, and we'll find out a little later what the difference is and which one I prefer more. I do have company coming in to join me, so hey, let's all learn more about wines right here at Wine World, here on the Road Trip. Let me eat first. Subog na. All right, so we're at the Road Trip, and right now we are currently at Wine World here at Crocodile Park. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm not really a wine enthusiast. I'm not a wine guy, but I'm starting to be. I'm not getting any younger. I mean, I do have somebody here much younger than me, but
You're only 25.
okay, so
At
times
25.
2.5. So you're hanging out with Rod and
Yeah.
yes. So if you're a Lagan and you're a Pawerla, then she probably looks familiar to you. But kidding aside, she's sort of a fixture in Davao nightlife already, and she can have fun and have a few drinks or so. But if you were to choose like one particular alcoholic drink to consume for the rest of your life, which would it be? I mean, you know what? You know what? There's something that's always puzzled me. Like, if we're ever like doing tagay with my friends, right?
Yeah.
And you can consume like liters and liters of like Red Horse or San Miguel or whatever, right? Or beer.
Exactly.
But you do that with water, it's not doable.
Yes.
Try doing it tagay daw tubig.
yeah,
Sige,
yeah.
oh. I mean, you're not
Dapat
gonna
may
get
soft
drunk.
drinks.
You're not gonna get
Yes.
drunk, but you're gonna, obviously you're gonna
Yeah.
hit your limit. But of course with wine, one of the reasons why wine has become popular, I mean, especially recently, especially here in the Philippines, more so here in Davao, since we're kind of behind everything in the world, people have become more health conscious. It's more of
Health conscious.
conscious lang, pero
Madali
nothing to do
lang.
with health. And the thing with wine is it's not something that you just gulp down,
You should
crazily.
savor it. Like enjoy like every sip. Like the smell.
It's also sort of symbolic of somebody maturing,
Yes,
'cause
maturing.
yes.
Oh.
Because I mean, I couldn't imagine myself
Can
back
you relate?
in college in Ateneo, eating ding dong for pulutan and then like drinking wine with my sunog baga friends.
Di ba, guys?
Why ang I know? I still drink beer, but of course, you're trying to avoid the beer gut, so I transitioned to whiskey.
Whiskey.
So the thing with whiskey
Yeah,
for
whiskey
me, and I'm not promoting whiskey because we're here for wines, right?
Yes.
The thing with whiskey for me is that I don't have the luxury of sitting down and drinking or consuming alcohol for long periods of time. And with whiskey, it's like one shot, igat, right? So,
Barog-barog na.
yes, barog-barog. So anyways, but with wine, it's something to be enjoyed and consumed, not hastily, right? Like even the way you talk when you're holding wine, you start to sound like, you're legit.
Yeah. Like sa shao.
Like we're social, Like,
Yes. Like you're rich.
Like you can't be like, pare, meron ka daw, bro. I mean, no, you can't, right?
Exactly.
I mean, look at Ish. Like, if you've seen her at bars here in the city, she does not drink like this, all right?
How do
She's
I
like,
drink?
Kuya! Hoy! Mare! Yung bayaran mo na. But here at Wine World, we're like
Like
gotta
sa
be
shao.
big.
That's how the mirror.
Yeah, you have to like start acting like you be 10 years older than your actual age. So now basically I have to act like I'm 40.
Eleganto.
Yes. And I mean, it's okay to enjoy wine with lagaraya, from time to time, but usually
And
it's...
hidden cheese.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
It's better consumed with fine cheese, and it's just something, I would assume that it's something that the Europeans introduced to us. And a lot of people are intimidated by wine. I spoke to one of the owners earlier, and one of the reasons why I chose this episode of Road Trip to be here is for people like us. We're not regular wine drinkers. I did not grow up in a wine drinking family. My mom's allergic to alcohol, so obviously I wasn't exposed to alcohol at a young age. But a lot of people have this stigma of like wine is for the elite.
Yeah.
It's for the rich, it's for the social, it's unaffordable, it's the drink of the pretentious, right? And in a way
Just
it is.
like-
I mean, just look at us, right?
We're pretentious.
We're pretending to be what we're not. Well, apparently.
Like the way you hold the glass.
Okay,
the
so
way
can you give me the one-on-one on wine drinking? What have you learned so far in your limited wine exposure?
Well, so far, I just learned that there are certain, I'm not sure if it's just the glass, but there is like a certain way for you to hold the glass.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's because it shouldn't affect the temperature
Okay.
of the wine.
So
Ah.
to our friend Ian, we'll be editing this whole thing. While she's doing this whole shebang about wine etiquette and stuff, can you have like a little disclaimer that she's not a wine expert? That
I
she
am
is
not a wine. I'm
a certified wine tikal.
I am
Ilongga gid.
expert drinker, not a
Expert drinker.
Yes.
Not wine expert.
Let's clarify.
Clarify
But,
that, alright?
Expert drinker only.
Basta makahubog, so,
Ganun.
right? So, okay, so that's the deal, right? So
Mas ito ba?
you're supposed to hold it because you don't want to alter the temperature.
That's true. Because, however, other people they want it like cold,
Okay.
chilled.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, it's supposed to be chilled, I
How
think.
about you?
I mean, look at it. Look at it. I mean, just so people know that we didn't order this by the glass. We came prepared,
Yeah.
all right? We're loaded. We're loaded. Let it rain. See, we always go back to our
One,
roots.
two, three,
Why do we
four.
always go back to our roots?
Exactly.
We were supposed to be like in cut mode tonight, right? But anyways, kidding aside, we were supposed to ask for expert advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about. But if we did, then he would be speaking alien language, right? Because honestly, our whole point here is to let the noobs know that we can come in here and basically,
Explore.
create chaos, right? Magsaba-saba. Friends are a dime a dozen, right? You just say, bye, libre ko, boom, all your friends show up,
Yeah.
right? Bye, palibre ba? Nobody shows up.
Pag KKB.
Yeah, magkikipi. Ay, maglaba pa kung But kidding aside, okay, I have to ask you this, from one noob to the other. What is it about the effects of drinking wine that appeals to you? I mean, like with beer, it's kind of heavy. You kind of start to have slurred speech. You start to become kind of, that's the typical beer drunk, right? Start beating up your, whoever it is that you with you, and you start forgetting to pay the bill. With whiskey, for me, it's just like one shot you got, like I mentioned,
Yeah.
right? Like big shot, it's warm, that's good. All right. With tequila, it's amnesia. That's the effect of I'm not kidding. Like, I'm a routinary person. When I come home, I put my wallet here, my watch here, my whatever here. But when it's
With
tequila, asa akong wallet? Asa nang gabi sa kotse?
Gisa na ulit.
Kisa pala ini. For me, it kind of brings out a festive side to you. It's a celebratory mood, you know?
Yeah.
That's why when you see people drinking wine, like in commercials and stuff, like, wala tayong problema. Wala natin isang pero kunyari wala. You know, people are always like happy and festive and excited and celebrating stuff.
Yes,
It's a celebratory drink.
That's true. I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, you're mourning
I
something.
just realized.
It's a celebratory drink.
Yeah,
right?
you won't think about wine if you're mourning, right?
Exactly. And I want you to flash, Ian, at the bottom, effect of wine. Taking slowly level, drunk level. Like slowly show a meter, right? 'Cause this is already a part of it. This is already the effect of wine.
Love.
Or tabian lang jud me.
Tabian lang yun ta.
Tabian lang jud ta. It's not the wine. We would be like this even if we were drinking water.
You can say that it's really expensive.
Because we're here or because you can taste.
Because that's of the taste.
Okay, because it's smoother.
Smooth.
It's smoother.
Like I was
Alright.
really surprised. You've seen my face, right?
Yeah, you mentioned it
Reaction.
like, oh my God.
You know, that's
You
one
called me
thing.
kuya, and like you don't even know each other.
Uncle.
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 No, but I mean, I'm not kidding. It's perfect for social drinking. Not social drinking necessarily. Social drinking.
Social drinking.
Because it brings out a side of you that normally you probably would not be exposed to the world if you were drinking a different kind of alcohol. Like I said, if I'm drinking tequila, it's amnesia rod. I forget everything, So if it's beer, I get sluggish, I get slurred speech. If it's whiskey, I go to bed and it makes me sleep at
But
night.
wine is like a surprise. Like everything is unique. I don't know if
They
I
each have their
think
own characteristic in terms of how it hits you.
Yes, that's true.
And this one I like.
I really like this
one I
too. This is amazing.
Polo tapia. I'm done. Right? Okay, so I don't know how to properly pour it. Because I mean, when he did it, he was like this, you know? Kaya ba ganyan? So anyways,
Yeah,
I think I can just pour it like... Alright. Wow, I'm doing it left-handed too. Billiards? Okay, so ma'am, like more?
Wow, thank you.
Wow, ang haba. Ng spout.
I
Okay, let's finish.
I forgot to
Let's finish it up with you.
Kuya.
Maybe you like that. All right, so we're good. So we do have the
And
white
look
wine.
at the depth of the glass. Look, it's like really.
Here?
Mas malalim, mas mahal.
Oh, really?
Mas masarap.
Did you hear that, Marco? Is that true?
Mas malalim, mas masarap.
But for guys, it's the opposite, right? Mas malalim, parang. Ilan ba talaga? But this is the house wine. This was the one that was recommended most. It's the house wine. So, and you always have to go with the house wine. If it's your first time, yeah, I ordered the red and then I ordered the white. So, and I was told by the owner that it's not really going to give you a hangover because we're confused about wine, the effects of wine, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes like if you mix gin with like Red Horse and like you get
Ikaw hangover pag wine?
we'll find out tomorrow. You can text me and if it's like slurred.
I will update you.
So far so good. We
This
love
is
the
their
wine.
bestseller, right?
It's the bestseller, rosemary chicken. So this was recommended by, I guess, the chef here at Wine World. So again, we are at Wine World with Ish and Marco and Ian, the guy behind the camera, who will be enjoying his dinner as well. So
Who will be drunk later?
yeah, so maybe at the next clip, you'll be seeing us like making kamang towards our cars already, all right? No, but I mean, so far so good,
Yes,
right?
it's really good.
Wine is uplifting, all right? It doesn't make you drowsy, it doesn't put you down, so far. But we'll see, we have another bottle to consume, so. More of the road trip right after this. All right, so welcome again to the road trip. After consuming a couple of bottles of really good wine, I'm in the mood to find out more about Wine World. And hey, there's no better person to ask than one of the people behind this beautiful place. And of course, we have Monique Villanueva with
Yes,
us.
that's right.
One
Hi,
of the owners,
Yes, one of 8 owners.
the creators, the conceptualizers of this place called Wine World. And I would like to ask first how this came to be and who's
Right.
involved exactly.
Okay, the beginnings of the Wine World story, they start in the pandemic.
Okay.
The 8 of us, we are 8 good friends, 4 married couples.
Okay.
Of course, we have to admit that we went through some emotional turmoil
Of course.
of the unknown, a fear of the unknown during the pandemic. So we decided that the 8 of us would come together every evening at 8:30
Okay.
to pray virtually.
Nice.
And the first pandemic Christmas in 2020, we felt that the Christmas spirit was not alive. So we decided to come up with a fundraising project called Noche Buena Mo Sagot Ko. And initially, we targeted just 100 poorest of the poor families.
So it's a charitable cause, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we were surprised because within 2 weeks, we were able to raise Noche Buena packs good for 1,000 families and
Wow.
more. We went outside of Davao City.
So outside of
actually.
Davao already?
Yes, we
All right.
reached Samal, Digos.
So how did you channel, like, announcing this activity?
Just our
You-
friends and
Okay.
our respective Facebook pages, the Facebook
Nice.
accounts. And we realized that people were just so eager to be generous during the pandemic.
Wow.
So the following year, we did it again. And the following year, there was Typhoon Odette in Mindanao.
Yes.
So we were able to help the victims of the typhoon through Noche Buena Masagot Ko again. And then the following year, we said, I think our friends are going to go through donor fatigue if we keep asking them.
Yes.
We have to think of something more sustainable. Maybe a business whose proceeds or bulk of proceeds will go to sustaining Noche Buena Mo every single year.
So you wanted
while
to
we are
pursue and
alive.
continue that particular
Yes,
project?
without having to ask for donations all the time.
Yes.
So we said, okay, let's put up a passion business. And then we decided, we asked ourselves, what is it that we enjoy doing together? And obviously, the answer is, yes, sabay-sabay kami. We said, wine.
How much input did the husbands have into this particular idea of yours? Was it like all the... Because I mean, like, from my personal experience, it was my wife who sort of introduced me into the wine
Alright,
culture. Because,
okay.
she would sit, open a bottle of wine, she would enjoy a Moscato here and there. And I'd be like sitting with my whiskey, right? Which is like a more masculine drink, so to speak. So how was it? How did you get the husbands to agree with you? Or was it initially the wife's ideas? Or was it a mutual thing altogether?
It's nice that you mentioned that you're a whiskey person.
Yes.
Because my husband is a Tanduay person.
Oh, there you go. That's rum.
Yes.
That's-
And secretly, he has Tanduay stash in the cabinet. So,
But don't tell anybody
Yes,
that.
that's
All right,
a-
this is
that's a
wine world,
secret.
not rum world.
okay. When you ask her how influential were the husbands, a lot of the decisions were made by the wives.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Because if the husbands were to decide, this building will not be air conditioned. This would only be a container van serving wine and agaraya.
Darn it! It should have been the husbands
So-
who had the final word.
We wanted to dispel the urban legend that that wine is just for the rich, that wine is for the highly educated.
It's intimidating. I
Yes,
have to admit,
that
it's
is the
intimidating.
word.
I mean,
That is the word.
I mean, when I came in here, I mean, I don't, my dad he has a couple of vintage Dom Perignons, but he doesn't drink. He's just a collector, so he collects.
So never opened.
We opened a 1984 vintage or something. That's supposedly one of the good
Wow.
years, right? And I was drinking, I was like, oh my God, we finished it in like 5 minutes. It was that smooth, and it had the sediments and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so that was my first real experience of like a really good bottle, right? And now I came in here, and I was told by one of your bartenders that there's a ritual to it. Like you have to sort of swish it a little bit, then you have to swish it again, then you have to sniff it, then you have to sip it, and you have to approve before he
Yes,
starts pouring it
that's
amongst it.
right.
What would be a good starter wine? Your house wines would be a good way to
Yes, our
start?
house, we have one red house wine. We call them signature wines because the term house wine gives you the impression that they're the cheapest, so they don't taste so good.
So
but
signature.
Actually, our Carmenere is our red signature wine. It's
Okay.
very good.
Yes. I actually ordered one of the white.
And then the white is the Chardonnay.
Yes.
Yeah, so price has nothing to do with how wine tastes.
Yes.
No? So it's there are several kinds of wine, and price should not always be your basis for choosing. Like here we have what I really enjoy watching is young people in
Yes.
their 20s.
Yes.
Then they just get a bottle of wine that's less than 1,000 pesos.
Yes.
But our waiters serve them the same way that we sell the
Yes.
5,000
Yes.
peso bottles.
Yes.
And that whole experience is educating.
I love that. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
And it dispels whatever barriers there are to
Yes.
drinking wine.
Wine is just something that you enjoy and you take time to enjoy, and you grow and you appreciate it more and you learn
Yes.
more. And it's like what Ish stated earlier when we were doing our sit down talk. She said it's always exciting to experience a new bottle of wine.
That's right.
It's a new adventure. It's not the same thing twice.
That's right.
And as you grow into it and you immerse yourself into it, trust me, it can get crazy, all right? And but at the same time, I'm glad to know that this actually started out as something so humble.
Yes.
And when people look at it, it seems so fancy and elitist, but it's actually, the origins of it is actually for charitable cause.
Yes.
And it was during the pandemic, and look at where Wine World is now, right? So thank you, Monique, for giving us
Thank
the
you,
background.
Rod.
You want to mention the names of your other partners?
All
So the
right.
husbands, don't feel like they're left out.
Okay. So there are 4 married couples, 8 of us. I'm married to Richard Villanueva, who works in government.
The Tanduay guy,
The Tanduay guy. Yeah, he's the most good-looking of the 4 husbands.
of course. That's what my wife says about me too.
Yes. It's
When
very
I'm around.
It's very it's like drinking wine. It's very personal, the experience.
Yes.
And then we have Joey and Joy Mempin.
Okay.
They own service stations and a distribution company. Then we own the third couple is Vic and Fer Rosario. They own a
Fair I met.
chemical.
This is
Yes,
the first one
that's
I met,
right.
yeah.
And the ones who are not here are the architects.
Okay.
Yes. Two of our business partners are
So we
both
give credit to
architects.
them for
Yes, Rene
the
and
interiors
Sylvia.
of
Vic and Fe, they own the lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, where we are standing.
Oh,
So everything
nice.
came together. Joey and Joy distribute the wines. The lot is owned by Vic.
nice.
The architects were Rene and Sylvia. And Richard and I are the fun people in the group.
Oh, there you go. That's
That's 25% share.
That's actually the
of
best part.
ownership.
That's the best position that you can have in a partnership. To be honest, one thing I can say about the enjoyment of drinking wine, it's a celebratory drink.
Yes.
It is. You want to celebrate something, you want to be in a festive mood, you want to be in the company of good friends, you want to enjoy good food, you don't want to be in a hurry, you don't want to be in a rush, you want to take your time.
That's right.
And it has, for some reason, it has that wonderful effect of sort of making you feel positive about a situation that might otherwise be negative. Hence, this came about during the pandemic.
And can I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
The experience of wine is very personal. If somebody says na, what do you sniff? You don't have to be afraid to say what you can sense with your sense of smell.
Yeah.
Like when I went through that course, that Wine 101, I actually smelled caldereta
Wow.
in the red wine, and there's no judgment. So I'm saying that so that you are not intimidated by wine. The experience of wine is very personal. It's very unique to the person.
Yes.
So
I actually smelled humba
Yeah.
earlier. Now I was just hungry.
later patatim.
Now I'm very hungry. But you know what? That's the beauty of it. So thank you so much, Denise, for taking
Thank you,
the time.
Rod. It was nice meeting you.
You know, this was just a spur of the moment thing. I was like, okay, how do we level up our show? We got to go to Wine World because wine is associated with leveling up. But at the end of the day, you realize that this started out from a very humble, cooperative experience of the couples that were involved. And it was during the pandemic, and now look where they're at. All right, so come to Wine World. Don't be intimidated. If you smell caldereta at first, trust me, later it will be lengua. All right? So you got Rod Rodriguez here on the Rod Trip, and we got to enjoy more wine right here at Wine World. Cheese and cold cuts. Cold cuts. Pag sip, ano ako, tapos ako, and then pag sip na ako, snip pa no, snip, okay, sip lang. Sip na, ano lang. Laklak yun. Kay gamay naman, oh. Igo lang for sipping, yeah. Ba't doon dapat? Baba na ako. Baba, tapos dapat nakababa pa yan.
Kailangan maubos.
Hindi, sampler lang man sa akin pa. Wala ka pa. Tama.
Grabe mo rin iyaha, manjud nila. Road.
Yo. Okay, dali na lang yung sponsorship no? The road trip. The road trip. Actually, kaya siya road trip. Para siyang road trip.
Kay ana rin kay lalom.
Grabe po nga ana. Ana po. Murya po. Hulo ko.